So last time or last week, we discussed about the chapter 2 of the research paper or the review of related literature and studies. So this time we will be discussing another set of or another chapter of the research paper, and we will discuss the module 14 to 15, which is understanding data and ways to systematically collect data. So in this discussion, we will discuss the following: choose an appropriate qualitative research design, describe the sampling procedure and sample, plan the data collection and analysis procedures, present the written research methodology, and utilize materials and techniques to produce creative work. But before that, so since our first day, we are using the term data. So what do we mean by data? Or in data in research? So when you hear the word data in research, what comes in to your mind? Anybody? From Anna Marie. Information. Yes. So, what kind of information class? When we say data, analysis. Wow, sinagot niya rin. Very good. Aside from information or the analysis of information, what else? So, data or the information itself, yes, Giselle. The collection of information, yes, collection of information that the researcher are searching for. Meaning, as a researcher, you have to research or you have to look for the information or set or collection of information that can help your thesis or your research or that can help in your study. So, at the same time, when we say data, they are subjected to analysis, statistical procedures, and interpretation so that inferences, principles, and generalizations are drawn. Meaning that it's not just an information or data. Okay, so that's why you need an analysis according to Anna Marie, and yes, a collection of data or information from Giselle that you have to analyze. Okay, so you have to analyze those information or those data. And at the same time, it also reveals unsatisfactory conditions that need to be improved. And it is also the application of newly discovered facts and principles to remedy or help unsatisfactory conditions become the basis of human progress and the improvement of the quality of human life. Again, so when we say data, these are the information that you are searching for, and at the same time, these are the information that you will draw or find out or give at the end of your study. Meaning, aside from researching data, you will have to present another set of data at the end of your study, or you have to present another set of information at the end of your study. So, that is data. Okay, so when we use the term data in our discussion or in our class, it means information. Okay, a collection of information that you have to analyze and a collection of information that is helpful to your study. Next is a qualitative research design. So, back in our first or second meeting, if you can remember, I told you that we have two types of research. So, what are the two types of research if you can still remember? Anybody? Okay, so we have answers from Mary, Anna Marie, Jerry, Giselle, Kaiza, Rui, Madeline, Eliza, Prince, Colin. So they all have the same answers, the qualitative and Tricia, qualitative and quantitative. Yes, that is correct. That is why in your senior high school, in your grade 11, you will be doing, or in practical research 1, you will be doing qualitative research. And in practical research 2, in your grade 12, you have subject practical research 2 that is quantitative research. Okay, so we will focus on qualitative research this time. But before that, what do we mean by the word research design? So when we say research design, it is basically a research plan similar to a blueprint. Now, do you know what blueprint is? Anybody? Do you know what blueprint is? Sa ilan ginagamit ang blueprint? Or sino ang gumagamit ng blueprint? Sino ba yung gumagamit? Okay, from Anna Marie, Joel, Jovi, Francine, yes. Used by engineers and architects, yes. From Rod, Serenity, okay, and Jovi, yes. It is a plan. Yes. It is a plan when you are building a structure, 'di ba? So, if you are an architect or an engineer, yes, Berluch, how do you pronounce your name? Okay, so you need a sketch or a plan from Serenity when you are constructing, di ba? O yes, a floor plan, Mary May. So, hindi pa pwede yung, sige, basta lagay nyo na lang ng semento, tapos patungan nyo na lang ng bubong, okay na yan. Di ba hindi naman ganun pag nagbi-build ng house or ng structure? Pag nagbi-build ng building, basta pagpatong-patungin niyo yung mga hollow blocks. 'Di ba? So that is not the proper way when you are constructing a house or a building. Okay? So that's why you need a blueprint. That is the same thing when you are writing a research paper. You need a blueprint or a plan which we called research design. Okay? So a research design is basically a plan. You have an outline. What are you going to do in your research writing? So first is, so you have a clear focus on the research questions, meaning you will be focusing on your questions only or in your topic only. That is to be manageable in resources and time. So you can manage your time well and your resources. Do we have clear indecision or to be clear in decisions about sampling and particular use of methods? So when we say sampling and particular use of methods, in each problem or in each type of topic, you will be needing different methods, which we will discuss later on. That is well linked to the theoretical background and based on the research perspective of the study. So meaning you will be you need theories about your research and reflective to the aims of generalization and the audiences of the study. At the same time, sensitive, flexible, and adaptive to the conditions in the field and open to new insights from the start or during the progress of the research. Meaning, you can alter your research or some parts of your research. You can alter, when we say alter, change. Diba? So, you can be flexible in writing your research. So, that's why you need a research design. So, after finding or looking for a topic and formulating a title and questions, the next is you have to give the review of related literature and studies, if you can still remember our last topic. Now, next after that is a research design. Okay, a plan in writing your research. So, in writing a qualitative research design, you have 5 approaches. So you can choose in what approaches or approach you want to use in your research writing. So first is narrative research. So when we say narrative research as a method, it begins with the experiences as expressed in lived and told stories of individuals. Now, what do we do in narrative research? Or ano yung ginagawa kapag sinabing narrative research? Or pag sinabing narrative, ano ba yung ginagawa sa narrative? So, when we say narrative again, narrate, you are telling a story. Nagkukwento kayo. Okay? So, ikukwento nyo yung experiences that has connection to your study. So, under narrative research, it can be biographical study. When we say biographical study, this is when the researcher writes and records the experiences of another person's life. Ano yung ginagawa dyan sa biographical study? Ano yung kinukwento dyan? Anybody? Pag sinabing biographical study, buhay. Yes, life, talang buhay. Nino? Buhay or talang buhay nino? Buhay ng isang tao or buhay ng ibang tao, another person's life. Okay? So, for example, I am the researcher, another person sa class. So, for example, I am the researcher and I think that your life has connection to my study. I can use that under biographical study. Okay? Because that is another person's life. Ibig sabihin, ikukwento ko yung talambuhay ng ibang tao. While autoethnography, when we say autoethnography, it is written and recorded by individuals who are the subject of the study. Meaning, for example, I am the researcher and I am the subject of the study. I will tell my own experience. Okay, so that is autoethnography. In biographical, another person. When we say autoethnography, yes, or autobiography, that is written by yourself or written by writer. Okay, that is autoethnography. Next is life history. When we say life history, it portrays an individual's entire life. So, paano naman yan? Pag sinabing life history, biographical, another person. Autoethnography, self. And life history, it portrays or it tells a story about anybody? Pangkalahatan? Yes, what else? Or individual's entire life, meaning from the day that the person born until the present time and or kung hindi na siya, kung dead na siya, hanggang dun lang sa death niya. Okay? This is not really the talambuhay or the life is story. Yung meron ng connection sa topic nyo. Okay? So, for example, I am the researcher and then yung topic ko is, let's use our previous topic, di ba? The negative effects of mobile games to students. Of senior high school students. For example, ay yung topic natin. Now, I am the researcher and I think the life of Prince Colin has something to do with my topic. Ilalagay ko siya sa narrative research. So, ikukwento ko siya under biographical study. Kung ano yung experience ni classmate Prince Colin dun sa research na connected sa akin. Na research na connected sa ginagawa ko. Okay? Pero kapag life history naman, individual's entire life, simula nung start, nung pinanganak siya until the present time, that is life history. Okay? Hindi yung pa pwedeng, ay, parang ang ganda ng talang buhay niya. O, diba? So, dapat may connection pa rin sa topic niyo or sa research niya. Okay? That is narrative research. And that is, another one is oral history. It consists of gathering personal reflections of events and their causes and effects from one individual to several individuals. So when we say oral history naman, you will gather personal reflections of events. So in oral history, for example, I will ask Anna Marie about the effects of mobile games to her. And at the same time, I will ask Madeline of her experiences about mobile games. And I will ask Colin, I will ask Mermaid, I will ask Serenity, I will ask Kaiza. Okay, I will ask Josel about their experiences about mobile games. Okay, and I will gather it and then that is considered as oral history, meaning gathering of personal reflections from several individuals. Kasi ito, si 1, 2, 3, isang tao lang yung tinutukoy niya. Si oral history, it consists of one or several individuals. Gets the difference of the four narrative research? Again, now when we say narrative research, you will tell a story or you will narrate a story or the experience based on your research. Next is phenomenological research. Okay, so it describes a common meaning for several individuals of their lived experience of a concept or phenomenon. If in narrative research, experiences or life in this kind or in this approach, it describes the for a certain phenomenon only or concept. Isang pangyayari lang. Okay? Meaning phenomenon, pangyayari, or concept. Next is grounded theory research. So its intention is to move beyond description and to generate or discover a theory, a unified theoretical explanation for a process or an action. So in grounded theory research, what you're going to do is to unify. Pag sinabing unify, it means pagsasama-samahin. You will gather or generate a general explanation into a theory. Okay? So for example, yung answers ng mga classmate natin kanina is lahat negative. So by that or from those answers, we will form a theory. And that is what we call grounded theory research. Unified, pinagsama-sama. Generate. Okay? You will collect the answers into theory. Okay? Next is ethnographic research. So when we say ethnographic research, it focuses on an entire sharing group. Typically, it involves many people who interact over time. So when we say ethnographic research class, this is where you observe and at the same time share the culture or tradition with other people. Kung one good example of this is, alam niyo yung mga documentaries, yung mga journalist na pumupunta ng malalayong lugar and then titira sila doon ng 1 month para i-observe nila kung ano yung pamumuhay nila doon. That is ethnographic research. Okay? So, this is used when you want to understand the behavior, the values, the culture of, or even a language of a certain group or tribe sometimes. Okay? So, for example, I want to understand ano ba yung culture ng mga kababayan natin sa ganitong lugar. So, pupunta ako doon and then I will conduct an ethnographic research. So, ang gagawin ko, I will live with them and then gagawin ko din kung ano yung ginagawa nila sa pang-araw-araw. That is ethnographic research. Okay? Next is action research. When we say action research, it seeks action to improve practice and study the effects of the action that was taken. So, in action research, after finding out the problem, you will give solutions. And ano yung effect ng solutions na yun? So, for example, your topic is about different reasons why students don't attend online classes. So, i-identify niyo yung problem and then magbibigay kayo ng solution. And ano yung magiging epekto ng solution na yun? Ang tawag dun is action research. Okay? So, those are the different approaches of qualitative research design. So, when you are conducting qualitative research design, you just have to choose in one of those 5 approaches. So, depende sa inyo. So, it depends on you what is suitable to your topic. Okay, so that's why I told you a while ago that the method or the approach differs from one another kasi it depends on your topic. Okay, so those are the different or the 5 approaches of qualitative research design. The next is the sample and sampling procedures. So when we say sample class, in research, this is a representative of the population. The characteristics of the sample are characteristics of the population. So sino yung tinatawag nating sample? So they are the representative. Pag sinabing representative or sample in research class, meaning hindi lahat is hindi gagawan nyo ng interview or ng questionnaire. You will get a sample. So another term for sample is representation. Okay? Yes, may the population. Kasi kukunin nyo yung sample na yan sa tinatawag na study population. So the study population is the entire group of elements that you would like to study. This is often a group of individuals, but it can also be composed of a larger unit. So paano yun? For example, your topic is about the negative effects of mobile games to senior high school students of ACLC Caloocan. That is our topic, okay? Now, nakalagay na dun na senior high school students of ACLC Caloocan. Now, what if we have 3,000 students of senior high school? Lahat ba sila kukunin nyo sa research? Lahat ba sila i-interviewin nyo? Lahat ba sila bibigyan nyo ng survey questionnaires? What if we have 100 sections? Diba? So, yun na nga, graduate na yung mga classmate mo, college na sila, ikaw, nagre-research pa rin. Okay? Why? Because of the large population. Kasi kabuuan yan, yung entire group. So, para mas mabilis ang research, kukuha lang kayo ng tinatawag na from population na sample. Okay? So, for example, 1,000 yung population. Hindi mo pa, well, it's impossible or mahirap na gawa ng research yun. So, ang gagawin nyo, kukuha lang kayo out of 1,000 ng 100 sample. That's why they are the representative. Okay? So, when we say representative, the characteristics of the sample, kung ano yung sagot nila sa research, are the characteristics of the whole population. So, if yung 100 students na yun, for example, ang sinagot nila is there is no negative effect of mobile games, of playing mobile games. Now, the answer of the whole population or the entire group is there is no negative effect. Kahit pa na yung iba dun is nagsabi ng negative, na merong negative effects. Okay? Since they are the representative. Gets? So again, when we say population, this is the entire group. So if your topic naman is about, for example, the vendors in the market, hindi lahat yung nandun sa market is i-interviewin nyo. Kukuha lang kayo ulit ng sample. Okay, they are the representative. Next is a sampling frame. When we say sampling frame, it is the list of all elements in a study population. So, when we say list of elements in a study population, di ba kanina dun sa topic natin, first element is senior high school students. Second element, ACLC Caloocan only. Third element, 100 representative or samples. A fourth element, ABM students only. Okay, so that is a sampling frame. List of elements. And a sampling unit, so it can be a person, place, event that is selected for inclusions in the study. So, for example, if you are sampling high school students, your sampling unit would be one only. Kasi senior high school students lang. Okay, pag sinabi niyo namang students, madami yan. It can be preschool, it can be elementary, high school, junior high school, senior high school, college, meron pang graduate school. Okay, so ayun tawag dun is sampling unit. Okay? So, when we are using this definition or terms, ayan yung mga ibig sabihin nila. Okay? So again, in your research or in your activity, in your activity sheet, you just need to get a sample. Okay, hindi lahat. So, ang activity nyo kasi dun is mag-i-interview kayo. So, hindi lahat i-interviewin nyo. You just need to get a sample. Okay? Next is the different procedure in collecting data. Here, the data collection in qualitative research, meaning how are we going to collect data or gather data in qualitative research. First is observation. Now, when we say observation, anong ginagawa? Anybody? When you say observation, anong ginagawa sa observation? Pag may sumagot dyan ng observe, malamang. Hindi, joke lang. Okay. Anong ginagawa sa observation? Recording the events from Mary May. Yes, correct. So, when we say observation, again, surveillance. Okay. You are may police pala tayong classmate. De, joke lang. Okay. From Anna taking down notes or recording the events that the researcher sees. Yes, here. This is the keyword seen. Meaning, when you are observing, you are just watching. You are watching or capturing the behavior or anything that you want to observe in your research. Okay? So, for example, in observation, my topic is, again ha, let's use one topic na lang para hindi nakakalito. Our topic again is the negative effects, right? So, when we say observation, we will just observe yung mga students na nagpapakita ba sila ng mga negative behavior when they are playing mobile games, for example. Halimbawa, nagka-curse, nagtatantrums, nagwawala pag natatalo, nagpo-post sa Facebook. So that is observation, meaning you are just observing them or their behavior. You are just watching. Next is interview. When we see interview, the researcher asks a set of questions and even make a follow-up questions to gather necessary data. So in interview, you are asking. Verbal naman to. Okay? So sa observation, you're just looking, watching. In interview, this is verbal, asking a set of questions. Yes, you need a constructed questionnaire. So in interview class, it can be face-to-face or you can use telephone, you can use cell phones in asking questions. And also under interview, you can give a questionnaire. So instead of asking them verbally, ibibigay nyo na sa kanila yung questionnaire, nandun na nakasulat yung sagot, yung tanong, and then sasagutan na lang nila. Okay, so that is interview. Next is documentary analysis. When we say documentary analysis, the researcher uses existing or available information like health records or reports and other documents of organization or institution. Yes, mermaid documents are reviewed by the analyst. So, when we say documentary analysis class, you will analyze or you can use yung mga printed documents na. So, for example, yung topic natin kanina, senior high school student. So, pupunta kayo halimbawa ng registrar office. Hihingi kayo kung ilan yung enrolled na senior high school students. So, that is documentary analysis. Okay? So, another example is pupunta kayo ng City Hall. Pupunta kayo ng City Hall para manghingi ng tatanong nyo kung ilan ang population ng ganitong barangay kasi ito yung topic nyo. For example, so that is documentary analysis. Okay? Next is focus group discussion. When we say focus group discussion, this is when the researcher obtains in-depth information or concepts, perceptions, and ideas of a group. Meaning, you will form a group, you will facilitate a group, and then you will give a topic and let them discuss the topic among themselves. Okay, so for example, okay, since I have 38 participants o group 1, dito kayo, ito yung topic na di-discuss nyo, and then next week, I will ask you the set of questions, and then you will give me a group answer. Okay? So that is focus group discussion. Next is a visual data. When we say visual data, it refers to the recording, analysis, and communication of social life, like photographs, films, and videos. So if you want to use movies, documentaries, films, videos, or even pictures or photographs, you can use that in your research. That is under visual data. Okay, so ma'am, meron ako napanood na documentary. So, may connection siya or it can help my research. Pwede ko po ba siyang isama? Yes. That is under visual data. Okay? So, these are the different procedure in gathering data or in collecting data in qualitative research. Next is the four broad types of qualitative analytic approaches. So, here we have four. The first is iterative. When we say iterative, it involves seeking meaning and developing interpretive explanation through the process of feedback. So when we say iterative class, you will give a feedback. So after collecting the data, you will examine it and then you will give your own feedback about it, or you will give your own feedback about their answers. Next is subjective approach. When we say subjective approach, subjective focus on the researcher only. So it is or what takes place within his or her own thoughts. Meaning, subjective focus on the thoughts or ideas of the researcher. And investigative approach. So when we say investigative, it involves the uncovering information relating to languages within cultural context. When we say investigative, it is uncovering information, meaning there are some language, there are some culture, there are some tradition that have different meaning to us. That's why investigative. You have to uncover them. Meaning you have to explain that to your readers. So for example, yung topic natin is about a certain group or culture. Now, yung ibang culture kasi class, meron silang ibang ginagawa or ibang belief na iba sa atin. That's why you have to explain it. Halimbawa, can you give some tradition or culture na meron kayo dyan sa inyo? Doon sa mga classmate nating okay, so for example, the okay sign, the thumbs up. Okay, so us in Filipino or for us Filipino, the thumbs up means okay, di ba? But in other country or in other culture or tradition, it means a bad finger. Yes. Mm. So ang okay sa kanila or ang okay sign sa kanila is yung ano ba, para ba yun, yung index finger and then yung thumb is naka letter O and that is okay for them. Yung nagmunguso para magturo ng lugar, okay, from Joel. 'Di ba? Okay, so sa atin, pagka, pagka naghahanap ka, 'di ba ituturo mo lang yung, ituturo mo lang gamit yung mouth mo. Pero sa iba, that is, 'di ba parang medyo, na siya, negative. 'Di ba? So, yes, that is investigative. Meaning, you have to explain that to your readers na hindi siya formal gamitin. Yes, Prince Colin. Okay? Yes, Flora, yung thumbs up na okay para sa atin, sa ibang culture, hindi siya okay. That's a bad finger. Yes. Yung okay sa kanila is yung parang nakikita niyo sa mga picture na, ano yun, delicious sign. Okay, yung para sa mga chef, delicious, okay? So that is investigative, meaning you have to explain them, you have to uncover that for your readers. Next is enumerative approach. When we say enumerative approach, it involves listing or classifying by the use of percentage, frequencies, and ranked order, or whatever is useful to the research question. So, ayun, pag sinabing percentage, 50%, gagamit kayo ng percent sign, frequencies, and ranked order. Pag sinabi ng mga ranked order, yung first, second, third, okay, next, yung mga ganon, enumerative approach. But you can use this for in your research writing. Sa kanina kasi, di ba, pipili lang kayo ng isa doon. Here, in data analysis, you can use this for. Or you can omit or remove kung hindi nyo naman kailangan. Okay? Parang sa milk tea lang daw, ilang percent ng sugar. 1%. Hmm. Next is hanggang egg from Joel. Okay. Ilang percent sagot mo? Opo, from Rovi. Gaano daw kataas yung milk tea hanggang leeg? Okay, hindi, joke lang. So, next is the data analysis in qualitative research, the different stages of interview. So, one good way to collect data in your research is through interview. So, in interview class, we have three stages. The first is transcription of data. When we say transcription of data, it involves getting the dialogue or narrative word by word. So, for example, here, this is the question, and you will type or you will encode the answer. That's why it is called transcription of data. So, if you can see, for example, sa mga news, di ba may hawak silang recorder so that they can transcribe the data or the answers. Ayun yung gamit nun. Okay? Kasi kailangan siyang nakatranscribe word by word. So, this is an example of transcription of data. The question and also the answer. Next is preliminary data analysis. In this stage, aside from the question and answer na nakatranscribe or nakatype, you will give your own analysis. The preliminary data analysis. It can be your own comment or side comments, or it can be your analysis, or your if you want to give a follow-up questions. So, diyan nyo siya isusulat. Preliminary data analysis. Then, the last stage is the face sheets. So, this is the cover sheet that is attached to the front of the data transcription. So, most of the time, this is like the profile of the interviewee. So, when we say interviewee, sila yung ini-interview. When we say interviewer, siya yung nag-i-interview. Okay? So, here, as you can see in the example, we have the question or the topic, and then the profile, like the name, age, date of interview and time, and the place of interview, and the follow-up questions or the set of questions. Okay, ang tawag dyan is face sheets. Kasi dun sa una, sa stage 1, yung answer, ang question and answer lang. Here, nakasulat lang yung mga tanong. Wala pang sagot. Okay? So, that is the stages of interview. So, that's all for today.